Okay, it is April 25th, 2018. We're doing our normal movie before we go. We had a lot of changes this year on the outside. It was our turn to get painted. For years we wanted our pop-outs to show, and we ended up going and this was the year we were able to do it. It was quite the little process getting the agreement on what color to go with our neighbors. They started out with sort of a gray, and we ended up, they also didn't want to go very dark, which was fine, but we wanted to go and have some contrast. We did agree that we like to go light. It's sort of the new thing around town is to go light trim. We decided to be brave, and we went with our red door. It's deep crimson along with the storm door. I think it really picks out the flagstone, and I think it picks out the stained glass window. So we'll do our normal thing where we go around. Bev has moved, which we were surprised. We didn't expect her to move. But our new neighbors are from Wisconsin. Their name are Ed and Adri, and they seem to be very nice. They're going to be moving in this Sunday. As you can see, things are growing. We've got a lot of our, what do you want to call it? Loa. No. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're blooming. The cactuses over here are blooming. We did a little bit of taking out because when they were painting, we had to give some room so they could actually get to the walls. The other big expenditure was new screens this year. We had a storm which ended up taking the half circle one, and it ripped it up there, so that's what started it. Plus we wanted new screens before the paint job, so the painting would be right up to the screens. Our hibiscus is doing really well. We did get a new cactus on the corner, but our neighbors are doing something and cleaning, so we're going to go inside right now. It is going to be 98 today, and we are going back to Minnesota where it's going to be in the 60s. They ended up with 23 inches of snow 10 days ago, and it's gone. We did get like a new little thing up there from an estate sale, of course. Our bougainvillea is gorgeous. It's going to get a trim job. We ended up going and we're doing really well with that. This is going to get trimmed down, but it's blooming for the first time. The white,
it's a
dwarf oleander. We did put a new hibiscus over there, so that was its first year. But give it 2 years and it'll be up and doing great. We've got the bottle brush there is actually doing very well. All right, let's see.
Our yellow hibiscus is finally blooming for the first time. It's 2 years old.
That was Dale's baby. He wanted the yellow one. I wanted the one that has the sunrise colors in it. And actually, as you can tell, unfortunately, it's not blooming right now, but there's a lot of buds on it. So they're coming along. So now you get to see the red door. Oh, and the other thing the big thing was new screens on these bedroom. If you recall, they were the original ones, so that also was a big improvement. Okay, our red door.
Deep crimson red.
We think it makes a nice entry focal point.
Welcome to Bisbee South.
Not as many changes in here. What we did though, we had some cracks from settling. You know, every house settles, and we ended up going and we had the painters come in. They ended up going and doing the crack repair and took care of those. we ended up going and there's a couple new glass pieces. The triangle down there,
Just made that.
the triangle up by the orange one. That one's actually one of my favorites. And yeah, and then the one down there. Also, I ended up doing this one here. But we got a new table, estate sale. There's some things over there, but when we get to that point, we'll show them.
We'll go to the bedrooms.
Oh, we're gonna be different this year.
I like the bedrooms.
All right, we're gonna go to the bedroom wing. All right.
This is new. This glass piece is
Yep, this glass piece is new. That one's new. Can tell I'm already starting to put together things for the beading to bring to Minnesota packing. We did, Jerry Rosen passed away this year, and his wife Ellie was a year ago prior. That was a glass piece she did that I had always admired, the mask. It was actually supposed to be one piece and it broke, and she mounted it. But pretty much the same in here.
Bathroom hasn't changed.
No, bathroom is the same. Really no change in here.
Except a few more
A couple new patterns.
new pieces. And here's our view of the golf course.
And the view is just as beautiful as it was last year, and as beautiful as it will be when we return.
The sprinklers were just on the golf course, and they are, and here's a couple golfers coming by.
Few more bracelets, of course. You can take the girl away from beading, but you can't take the beading away from the girl. Is that how it goes? All right. As you can see, that stained glass window with the door, it really pulls it out. Light fixtures were actually last year, but I'm still very, very happy with them. So, one of the biggest changes this year was in the kitchen. If you recall, we ended up having a microwave that was only like 13 inches above the original stove. So what we ended up having a carpenter do was he ended up going and Alexa, lower volume. So
Alexa, volume down.
So what he ended up doing was he took the original doors and he ended up building a new cabinet for it, and he brought it out about 2 inches, and which seems to fit better on the microwave. And then we ended up having, and then he put all the crown molding. And then we did the tile, the backsplash. The biggest concern I had was when we were looking at the Corian is still in really good shape. And so when we were looking at the Corian, if you see, it's got a little bit of gray in it with the beige. And then, so when we were looking for backsplash, I wanted to make sure I incorporated the gray with sort of the brown in some of the tiles to tie it all together. And then under the cabinet lights are sort of a strip now. We had a bad transformer. We put it on a dimmer, and the transformer was sort of a new way of doing it. And the poor electrician, he had to come back a couple times. The poor Bisbees had to go and pay for that a couple times.
So we replaced the old original electric range
Yep,
and a microwave to match what we have up north.
with my favorite solid surface. It's so much easier to clean. So that was our big change. And I love the stepped up cabinet. It sort of incorporates, you know, the ceiling height. We have the room for it, so why not go for it? So let's see. Pot shelves are no changes there. You know, so many of these things you've seen in other years.
A few minor changes in the lanai.
Yep, so. We did get an Alexa, so now we have music. Instead of having to use that tape, actually it was a CD player that we had prior to that. And then we use it through Cox. So now, because we painted, we ended up, we took in some of the things. We don't have our little artwork out on the walls, and we don't have all the tables out here, the little end tables for people. And being that we were leaving in a week, it just didn't make sense, and they just finished a week and a half ago. So the big change, our little red gate. We're cutting down the oleander. Once again, we had a bumper crop of grapefruit.
Probably over 600 grapefruit this year.
We are going to use Carolyn's gentleman to do the trimming of the tree next year. We were not too happy with Wayne, so
We're gonna have
it severely.
a big, severe haircut with the tree.
The quail are busy. Oh, look at, they do have everything is marked.
Yes, that was done yesterday.
Who did that?
Those are Joe and Dave.
Okay.
There's a 50th wedding anniversary party 2 days from now, and that's from our neighbors from
Jean and John, 50 years of wedded bliss. And last night we had Mexican train, and prior to that, we had a few other things. We did get a new fan. I'll let Dale talk about the fan.
Well, it was a compromise. As you know, marriage is a compromise, and I wanted downlights, and Debbie wanted something a little more contemporary. So we agreed on the color. We picked out the fan blades.
And I wanted sort of a beigey kind of globe. You wanted the white, and you got the white. So
So it's a good.
you got the color, I got the shape. But as you can see, everything looks so nice when it's just painted. Now if it would just stay this way.
Now with that, we will
Move on to the next venue.
last room would be the laundry area.
And there's really no changes in the laundry room. Or did we get the rugs this year?
No rugs this year.
Or that was last year. But we ran back to get another one. Because the other thing we did this year was we had the tile cleaned. Because the tile had been really
The grout.
the grout.
And also we had the tile man fix some cracked floor tile that we had.
So, you know, a lot of the changes are concealed because the cracks are gone in the tile, the cracks are gone in the walls where they settle. So, all right. Are we going to the garage or is that okay?
I think the garage, we
Covered that or not?
open it up.
He loves his little ladybug, so. As you can see,
This is where we store most of our stuff.
we've started packing away things that are normally on the lanai because of the painting and his ladybug. And we still have my car, more or less. Dale, the reason I said that, Dale had a little boo-boo this year. And it was one of those where he drops his wife off. His wife turns her head, starts walking on the sidewalk, and he makes his turn and he runs into a stop sign. And there's no way he can get away from it because I was 10 feet away.
I was busted.
He was busted, so, oh well.
I think that's about it for this year.
So that's this year's video. We'll see you next year. Bye.
Now.